Hey y'all, and welcome to day 8 of Voodoo Heritage Month. Now, before I start, I do want to apologize. I am coming down with a cold. So, my voice is a little scratchy, my nose is a little stuffy, I got a cough. I apologize in advance. I really do. So, day 8, and I want to talk about Florida water. I want to talk about the history of Florida water, how you can use Florida water or why we use Florida water, and also give you a recipe so that you can make your own Florida water. So I want to first start this off by saying Florida water is a big staple. It's a staple in many different spiritual practices. It is a spiritual cologne that contains numerous spiritual benefits, and it basically has become a staple in hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, in the ATRs. I'm only going to speak about the ATRs because I'm a hoodoo, so that's what we're going to stick to. What I will say that it's so well known. Many different practices, even outside the ATRs, use Florida water. Now, I do want to start off with the history of Florida water. So the Florida water that you guys see that is so mainstream is the one that is by Murray and Landman. And it was first introduced in 1808. And it was basically an alcohol-based essential oil type of concoction, perfume. It never was supposed to have any type of spiritual benefits, to be honest. It is, you guys, y'all see it all the time. It's kind of that, almost that blue sea green type of color. It's in the bottle. And you see it in all the botanicas. Sometimes you see it in drugstores like Walmart, Walgreens. And a lot of times you see people use it as offerings. They use more than likely you see people use it as like cleansing and purification. Back then, it was never meant to be like that. It was only meant to be a fragrance. It was meant to just be like a cologne, literally to give fragrance to the body. However, when it was introduced in the 1800s, the enslaved ancestors in the southern United States basically used the cologne while serving their masters. So they would, use the Florida water because it does have a nice citrusy, lemony, sorry y'all, type of scent. But it does smell good. I'm not going to hold you. It does. Even the ones today still smell good. But they would use it to scent the bed linens. They would sprinkle it in bath water. They would mop the floors with it. And they also would shave the men's fleas. However, we know that with our ancestors being able to, or being forbidden and not able to practice African religions, and we know that they was forced into Christianity. We already know this. Our ancestors would basically use Florida water as a offering to the ancestors or whatever other spirits that they were working with. And of course, they had to sneak to do it. And they would pair it with the Psalms. And because they already was using it in a way to cleanse, they just continue to carry the tradition. Now, what I will say is because of that, it kind of found its way through secret type of spells and rituals. It found its way into the spiritual spaces within the ATRs that would be performed by our ancestors. And that's really kind of where floor washes really became popular. What I will say, though, is that even though that's kind of how it's found its way into spirituality as far as ATRs go, we are very big on making our own. Our ancestors still would have made their own. Because they know that they would not, Florida water is something that they would not be able to go out and purchase on their own at their own willing. So they obviously would either sneak it or they would make their own, which traditionally that's what they would do. And it is so easy to make your own, not hard at all. And as long as you know how to consecrate and bless those herbs, which is a big and a major part of root work. Making sure that you bless those herbs and you tell those herbs what you need it to do, because herbs have many different properties. I want you to know that. Many different properties. One herb, for example, lavender have the property of peace. It has the property of tranquility, and it also have the property of domination. So if you are not pulling on the proper spirit within that herb, then you need to make sure that you are doing that. So if I'm using lavender in Florida water, then obviously the lavender is going to be for creating peaceful vibes, creating tranquility, especially if you are using that Florida water within your home. Those are types of energy that you will want in your home. So really, consecrating is all about blessing and pulling on the right spirit within the herbs. And as long as you do that, making the Florida water can be easy. What I will say is, once you create it, you consecrate all your herbs, you have your jar, you want to make sure that you are going to let that sit. I like to let my Florida water sit for a minimum of 3 months. Will it look pretty? No. Will it be powerful? Absolutely. Like I said, I let mine sit for a minimum of 3 months. You don't have to. You can let yours sit for, I would say at minimum a month. At minimum, I would say let it sit for a month. That way, all of the herbs, all of the essential oils, all of the the words and the prayers that you put into it can be infused, and you can have a very potent spiritual cologne. Another thing is, when you are creating it, you don't want to just let it sit there and just be stagnant. No. You want to at least a couple days out the week, a couple times out the week, I should say, you go over and you shake it up. Shake it up, 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 shake it up. Florida water can be used in spiritual baths. Florida water can be used as a way to anoint yourself. Florida water can be used in floor washes. It can be used to clean your spiritual tools. You can clean your candles with them. You can clean it. At the end of the day, its main purpose is to cleanse and purify. Cleanse and purify. And this is another reason why we make our own. We make our own because we are working with those spirits. If you go out and you buy it, it has no spiritual value. It was never meant to have spiritual value because it was never meant to be spiritual. It's nothing. If you buy it, it's nothing but scented. I don't want to call it a perfume. Obviously, it is a perfume, but it's like scented alcohol. Like, that's all it is if you buy it. Now, I do know practitioners that buy it and use it as the base, and they add different herbs and oils and different things, and they use it as a base to create their spiritual Florida water. But to use it by yourself and not add no herbs, no nothing into it is crazy. That's wild. Insane, actually. So if you're going to buy it, at least infuse it with herbs, essential oils, your prayers, and things as such. Don't just use it by itself. Now, getting into the recipe that I want to give you guys. The first one you want to do is you want to get a fresh lemon. You can use lemon peels. Sometimes I like to just use the lemon peels. Sometimes I like to use actual cut up lemon. It's up to you. I would suggest starting off with lemon peels. So get a lemon, peel it, and use the lemon peels. And you want to make sure that it's fresh. Lemon is great for cleansing. It has a strong cleansing property. It also gives it a great smell. So you want to do lemon. The next one I like to use is fresh green sage, not white. Not white, green. We're not using white sage. Green sage is great for not only cleansing the area, but also inviting in luck and good fortune into your home, or even just into your energy. Green sage is nice. Salt. I like to do natural sea salt, so you want to add some salt. We already talked about salt. I don't have to give it its introduction no more. Lemongrass. Whenever you are cleansing, you want to make sure you are pairing it with something sweetening to invite that type of good energy into the home. Lemongrass is a great herb to cleanse with, because you can kill two birds with one stone with lemongrass. Lemongrass have deep purification vibes, but it also is going to sweeten up the energy back and invite those not only good energy and high vibrational energy, but also those high vibrational spirits. Good. So some fresh lemongrass. I always like to add a pepper, just one pepper of your choice. I like to use either jalapeno or scotch bonnet. If I don't have peppers, I will use like pepper flakes. And that is going to be my protection. I like to have fiery protection, so that is usually the protection that I'm going to have. Now this one is this next thing is you must add it. And I'm not talking about rubbing alcohol. I need you to add 2 shots, or at least cover it. Not even 2 shots. I can't even say 2 shots, y'all. You want to add enough liquor to cover your herbs, depending on the type of jar you are using. So you want it just enough to cover your herbs. That's all. But you want to add either some vodka, some clear rum, to that jar. Now it's going to serve for 2 purposes. One, liquor itself is a nice offering to your ancestors, to spirits, right? But 2, liquor is a preservative. It's going to preserve those herbs. It's going to preserve those herbs. So that's kind of what you want that to do. That's why you want to add enough to cover the herbs up. You don't need too much, just enough to, cover those herbs. And then you want to fill the rest up with, I like to use distilled water, but you're going to fill it up with some water. And you have a nice little Florida water that needs to sit and kind of just marinate and brew over a month. I would say over a month. The one Psalms that I love to use over my Florida water is Psalms 91. And of course, I'm going to add in my own personal touch, but I do enjoy using Psalms 91. Once again, throughout the month that you are letting it sit, you want to make sure that you are going to shake it up and you are praying over it at least once or twice a week. Go over, shake it up, and pray over it. After the month is up, it's ready to use. You can go use it however you feel you need to use it, but just keep in mind it is for its cleansing purposes. If you have any questions about Florida water, just put it in the group chat and we'll go over any questions that you have. Outside of that, I'll see y'all tomorrow.